Hey cryptid hunters and nature fans, welcome back. Today's question is a fun one. If Bigfoot really is out there, how does an 8-foot-tall forest giant manage to share territory with grizzlies, wolves, cougars, and every other heavyweight in North America's wilderness? You'd think there'd be constant turf wars, right? Giant ape versus grizzly bear. Midnight monster showdowns. But most Bigfoot stories don't describe battles at all. Instead, they paint a picture of something much stranger. A massive creature that survives by staying hidden and avoiding conflict whenever possible. So today, we're diving into cryptid competitors, ecological niches, eyewitness accounts, and why Bigfoot might actually be the ultimate stealth neighbor. If you're Team Bigfoot, hit that like button, subscribe for more cryptozoology deep dives, and let's head into the woods. Picture the classic Sasquatch. Most eyewitness reports describe a huge primate-like creature standing anywhere from 7 to 10 feet tall, covered in dark hair, with broad shoulders and massive strides. People claim it eats berries, roots, fish, deer, and small game. It's usually described as nocturnal, intelligent, and extremely cautious around humans. Basically, Bigfoot treats people the same way most of us treat surprise Monday meetings: avoid at all costs. But here's the thing. North America's forests already have serious predators. Grizzly bears can weigh over 1,500 pounds and dominate huge sections of Alaska and the Rockies. Black bears thrive almost everywhere else, happily eating anything from acorns to stolen campground snacks. Then you've got wolf packs, mountain lions, and moose that can turn into antler-powered tanks when provoked. That if Bigfoot exists, he probably isn't ruling the forest through brute strength alone. He'd survive through strategy. Think less, king of the woods, and more, ghost in the ecosystem. That might explain why sightings rarely involve direct fights with bears or wolves. People report tracks near bear signs, but not full-on clashes. Bigfoot, if real, may simply avoid trouble before it starts. How Bigfoot avoids bear drama. Ecologists use the term realized niche to describe how animals divide resources and space to avoid constant competition. If Bigfoot exists, this idea actually fits pretty well. Bears spend months bulking up before hibernation, focusing heavily on salmon runs and berry patches. Bigfoot reports, though, don't suggest hibernation at all. Witnesses often describe seasonal movement instead, possibly migrating between elevations or sheltering in remote caves during harsh winters. In Washington state, some hikers have reported oversized tracks near bear trails, but rarely in the same feeding areas. Bears dominate riverbanks during salmon season, while Bigfoot stories tend to place the creature higher in the mountains, near meadows filled with elk or deer. Even the famous 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film hints at this pattern. The footage was shot in California wilderness already known for bear activity, yet there were no reports of aggressive encounters nearby. Some believers even claim Bigfoot has advantages bears don't. Reports often describe incredible uphill speed, long-distance movement, and surprisingly good climbing ability for such a large creature. If that's true, Bigfoot could access food sources like tree nuts or bird nests more efficiently than larger predators. In Appalachia, black bears commonly raid orchards and campsites. Bigfoot folklore, meanwhile, focuses more on hunting, foraging, and stealing honey from remote honey trees. One Ohio report from 2012 described a Sasquatch-like figure visiting a deer feeder hours before a black bear appeared in the same spot. Almost like it knew the bear's schedule and intentionally stayed out of the way. A lot of Bigfoot stories actually sound less like monster attacks and more like near misses. In British Columbia's Fraser Valley, a logger in the 1990s claimed he saw a large hairy figure near a creek while a grizzly fished nearby. According to the story, the Bigfoot slipped quietly into the brush while the bear barely reacted. No dramatic showdown. Just mutual avoidance. Another report from Oregon's Blue Mountains described strange rock-throwing sounds while bears fed along a riverbank. Bigfoot enthusiasts often interpret rock throwing as communication or warning behavior. Maybe it was trying to keep its distance without direct confrontation. Then there are wolves and cougars. Some researchers speculate that Bigfoot vocalizations, those eerie howls and whoops people report, could mimic wolves to sound more intimidating. Cougars, meanwhile, tend to avoid anything unusually large or unpredictable. Add in the infamous skunk ape odor many witnesses describe, and predators may decide it's safer to leave. One Idaho account even described large tracks circling around a cougar kill rather than approaching it directly. If true, that suggests caution, not aggression. And moose. Oddly enough, several stories claim moose react nervously to loud stick-breaking sounds associated with Bigfoot encounters. Considering moose are willing to square up against bears, that's an interesting detail. The pattern across these stories is surprisingly consistent. Bigfoot survives by staying elusive. What makes Bigfoot fascinating in cryptozoology isn't just the size, it's the intelligence factor. Many reports describe stick structures, stacked rocks, or simple shelters deep in the woods. Bears don't build things like that. Witnesses also constantly mention how difficult Bigfoot is to photograph or track. Despite thousands of trail cameras in North America, clear evidence remains frustratingly absent. That's either proof Bigfoot doesn't exist, or proof that, if it does, it's incredibly good at staying hidden. Compare that to bears, which regularly leave claw marks, tracks, fur, and visible signs of conflict. Bigfoot sightings almost never involve obvious injuries or territorial battles. The creature is usually described as cautious and calm rather than openly aggressive. Some indigenous stories from Alaska and the Pacific Northwest also describe mysterious forest beings sharing territory with wildlife rather than dominating it. While not direct evidence, those traditions add another layer to the mystery. And sure, people love debating who would win in a fight, Bigfoot or a grizzly. But ecologically speaking, fighting would be the worst survival strategy possible for a rare species. Staying hidden makes far more sense. Does any of this prove Bigfoot exists? No. But it does create an interesting framework for how a large undiscovered primate could theoretically survive. Some researchers think Bigfoot could be a relict hominid, an ancient human relative adapted for wilderness survival. Others connect the legend to Gigantopithecus, a massive prehistoric ape that once lived in Asia. And nature already gives us examples of large animals peacefully sharing ecosystems through niche separation. Orangutans and tigers in Southeast Asia rarely clash because they use different spaces and behaviors to avoid conflict. Bigfoot, hypothetically, could operate the same way. So there you have it, Bigfoot not as the king of the forest, but as its ultimate hidden neighbor, sharing the wilderness with bears, wolves, and mountain lions while staying just out of sight. Got a weird woods story of your own? Drop it in the comments. Whether it's a bear encounter, strange noises at night, or a full-on Squatch sighting, we want to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more cryptid deep dives. Next episode, Mothman vs. Owls, Misidentification or Midnight Terror.